right, to talk to us about his appointment. We're now joined by the new City of Johannesburg's Executive Mayor, Thapelo Amad, who is in studio with us. Very good evening to you. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Thank you so much.
A daunting task lies ahead. Firstly, congratulations are in order, but there's a lot to do. How does it feel to be in the hot seat?
I'm overwhelmed. I should say I'm overwhelmed, but I believe that the people who have entrusted me with the seat, they believed and they had faith in me. So this is why I need to make sure that everything goes well in terms of service delivery, serving the people that we represent, in terms of also representing political organizations and councillors that have elected me as the mayor-elect in the city of Johannesburg.
Yeah. You speak about service delivery. We know that there's a backlog in fixing the city's crumbling infrastructure.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of priority areas, in your first 100 days in office, where are you looking at in terms of your tasks that you need to perform almost immediately?
I'm looking at potholes, right? We need to identify systems that can assist human capital in terms of identifying those potholes. Remember, we are now on a digital era, and the technology has advanced so much so that there is a technology where you can use and it will deploy the data into the person who can then allocate and deploy the human resources to fill up those potholes. So that can be achievable. I believe so. It could be achievable within the period of 100 days.
So you're looking at potholes. The city under the DA's ousted mayor, Dr. Mpho Sithole, in the midst of the challenges, the party had formulated a plan to offset 3 stages of load shedding. In fact, Dr. Sithole was saying that she was saddened that residents are not going to be able to benefit from this and enjoy that, and that, you know, when it comes to that area, are you looking at carrying the plans forward, or perhaps going back to the drawing board and formulating your own strategy around load shedding?
Look, if there is a plan of that nature, of course I'll inherit the office as soon as she leaves.
Yeah.
So I believe that the plans that are in that office were meant for the residents of Johannesburg. They weren't meant for individuals who occupy the offices. But rest assured that, confidently so, I think that the legacy that she has left for us as residents is the collapse of the financials of the city. So if her plans are feasible for us to combat load shedding, it is something that we can look into, and we can also, through the intergovernmental relations, province and national, we can see that if it's a feasible model that we can look into through the assistance of other spheres of government. It's something that we can definitely implement, because ours is to be pro an agenda that will serve our residents.
You speak about the city's finances. The city doesn't have a manager. It's facing a financial crisis. In terms of your plan, I mean, that is one of your tasks to try and mitigate the situation. What are you thinking of as a solution to working around the finances?
Every company that doesn't have a CEO, it's likely to suffer. So it's also within the 100 days, one of the priorities that the city manager, or rather, let me say, within this next month, the city manager, a new city manager who's appointed officially so by council, has to come. The CFO has to come, the group CFO, and the coup has to come, so that we can have an organic system that would also assist a political wing. And ours is only, remember, ours is to do the oversight to the accounting officers. We like board members, so we don't interfere with the processes of the city. But we need to empower the systems of the city so that it can work autonomous from us as politicians.
So in just a few months, the mayoral committee has been reshuffled numerous times. I mean, you are stepping into the hot seat, as we spoke about. You'll be sworn in on Monday, as far as I understand. How do you feel about that? I mean, do you essentially feel safe, so to speak, because motions of no confidence have essentially become the operative words?
In terms of motions of no confidence, remember, our office as politicians is not sustainable. It's not a permanent thing, because there's an end to your term, one. And also we are cognizant that there are motions of no confidence. However, the people who, or rather the parties that have entrusted me with this mandate are the parties that had confidence on me. So I don't think that the very same parties who were able to vote me in, they're the same parties that will be likely have an intention to remove me, unless there's something drastic that I couldn't deliver to represent their views and maybe their manifestos.
Those two parties voted for you on Friday, the ANC and the EFF, and
the Patriotic Alliance.
Yeah, and within that,
okay.
And the others, yes, but
yeah.
They have been concerned. I raised those two specifically. They've been concerned that the parties, the ANC and the EFF, in Johannesburg specifically, would most likely have the power to make executive decisions in the city, despite you being the mayor, that perhaps you'll be at the mercy of the ANC and the EFF. That's been raised by some political analysts and pundits as an area of concern. Is that of concern to you?
It's their view, it's their analysis. I think the Premier sat next to me yesterday on the briefing, and then he categorically stated on record that it was the first time me and him meeting, sitting next to each other. So how is it possible that political parties are then going to influence my decision? I'm an independent body. I was elected by council that had faith in me. It's councillors who elected me. I don't know which politicians are going to influence me unless councillors of political parties that are within the same system that I'll be operating in, they are able to influence me, because that's where we debate issues. That's where we debate policies. That's where we implement as councillors. Out of that body, nobody has an opportunity or the power to influence anyone.
So coalition politics in their nature, very complex, as we've seen, especially just last year. If you stay and indeed make these bold changes that you want to make, and you're able to address the service delivery issue, and what do you think it'll mean for the big parties like the ANC and the EFF as you continue to make these big strides? I mean, 2024 is just down the road.
Look, I am in no liberty to speak on behalf of the EFF nor the ANC, but I know that in terms of my organization, which is Al Jama'ah, there's a mileage, there's an opportunity to growth, there's an opportunity to demonstrate the potential, and I'm confident that I won't let my political party down, because it is the one that has sent me to deliver to our residents in the city of Johannesburg.
Yeah. And in terms of impact, how much are you hoping to make for the people, for the residents?
The residents will judge. I won't blow my own trumpet, but give me some time. Definitely, it doesn't matter how long you are in the office. Even if it's one day, for as long as you can change a life of one person, a single person, you have impacted a life of the entire community, because what constitutes that particular community, it's one person, individually so. When they come together, they form a community. So the residents will judge. And I'm here with you. Tomorrow I allow you to judge me as well.
Yes, and I'll bring you back.
Yeah, for as long as it's a constructive criticism.
Absolutely,
yes. For me to grow also.
Yeah. Coalitions, I mean, we spoke about the complexity of coalitions. Are there any concerns on your end when it comes to, being heard and maintaining stability with, I mean, everyone has their various demands and desires. How are you going to manage that in itself?
Coalitions are arranged in the absence of government institutions. So we need to separate the powers. Coalitions are arranged by political parties. When we are in council, we do not represent our individual political parties. We represent council and the residents of the city of Johannesburg. So my main focus is to stabilize council first, is to engage councillors, is to create relationships within that system, so much so that I instill confidence in them. And these are the people who have powers to remove me.
Yeah.
So remember, their views are represented by me as an executive mayor, and they becoming the proxies of their own societies or their own constituencies. So their constituencies voted for them so that they could be represented that side. those individual councillors are represented by me to deliver to their constituency.
Have you had a chance to engage with any residents and just get a sense of the reaction since you are in this hot seat?
I was in a program, 2 programs, by the way,
yeah.
Today in Lenasia. It's a cleanup program. The community mobilized itself. They were cleaning the streets. I went there. They were joined by the inmates who are in a rehabilitating program. It was quite overwhelming, and I believe that I also instilled confidence, as young as I am, to those inmates and the society at large. The second program that I went to, it's an organization called Al-Ihya Foundation.
Yeah.
There's a house that got burned down in Annandale. It's a mother who lives in that house with the children, so they couldn't rebuild their house. So the organization and the community members, they got together and they rebuilt the house, and I was invited today to open up the house. So it was a quite overwhelming experience and a good welcome for me by the residents.
Thapelo, you say as young as you are, I'm not taking your youth away from you, but that in itself, how much do you think it could possibly affect you in your term? How are you going to leverage your youthfulness to achieve your goals without feeling maybe a bit of intimidation or anything along those lines?
Nothing would intimidate me except for my failures to deliver to the residents. That is the only thing that I need to worry about. I shouldn't worry about the perceptions or opinions of people. What do they think about me? What matters most, if you were to say, for argument's sake, how am I going to make sure that the city's finances are stable? I need to identify where are the loopholes. Is it the residents, except for the collapse, the political collapse of the city? If the residents are not interactive in terms of paying their services, then it is one fundamental issue that will collapse the city. Because when you are in business, you need to generate revenue. They need to understand that for other services, you are dependent on them paying those services. So mine is to request the residents that let's work together. Let's come together. Let's join hands. Let us work. Let us not wait for government. Let us also contribute to develop our city, because it belongs to us. It doesn't belong to any person who doesn't live in it. We are the ones who are faced with the day-to-day experience. Let us join hands. Let us work. Even in council, I will also invite councillors, including those who are in the opposition, to say, let's join hands. Let's work for the betterment of our city.
Very well. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us in studio. We're going to have to leave it there for now.